is a really lengthy one, even though it's the 12th house, you would think it's like easy, but it's not. Um, and also, for people who are awaiting for the last workshop that happened on Saturday, the links will be sent out. And now there we covered a little bit on the 12th house, because as we will see through the course of this, that this talk, that how important 12th house is in bringing a relationship, a long-term relationship. So you will see that. And that is one thing we always see when we talk about the 12th house. So anyway, let's begin. Oh my god, where am I here? One sec. Okay, slideshow in the beginning. Okay, lovely. Okay, now this uh, the 12th house is also called the Vyaya Bhava. And the karakas of that is Saturn, Ketu, and Venus, in that order. Saturn is one of the most, it's of course like one of the most problematic karaka. And it also is a karaka for the secondary karaka for the sixth house, and for the eighth house, and the primary karaka for the 12th house. Um, Now, Parashara, this is coming straight from Parashara, Brihat Parashara, and he talks about that the signification of what we should look for in the in the 12th house. One of the main things is Vyaya, which is expenses. So when we talk about expenses, we obviously talk about, if you really think about in any kind of, even like a material world and balance sheets and all that, any kind of an expense is really money going away, things that are going away, passing away. And obviously by implication it is a loss, right? So that is all about the 12th house. It's vyaya, it's all about expenses, what you expend your energy in, whatever energy you have, what you kind of have the impulse to throw that energy into. That is what vyaya is. And so of course it is the predominant house for loss. And it is also very vritta antaha. Very is enemy, secret enemies. Now it is in dire opposite, it's a mirror opposite to the sixth house, which is open enemies, whether they are enemies or the shadripus within yourself, or they are enemies from coming from outside. If you have like benefic planets, let's say, if you have, let's say, Mercury there in the sixth house, then you will be very skilled. You will be a brilliant learner and a communicator. So, but of course, you may also have a Shadripu, as in a sort of like a problem with, material stuff like money, because Mercury rules that. And of course, other people will also, you'll be a target of envy, because one of the Shadripus for Mercury is, about envy. So again, so that is how you see it. But but because it's a mirror house from the, it's a seven from the sixth, so obviously, whatever is in the sixth house gets sort of dumped into the 12th house. So the 12th house is a mirror. And so if the sixth house is like open enemies, and you're openly your problems, your shadripus and all that, then the 12th house is secret enemies, everything that is like quiet and secret. But the secret is very different to the secrets, mystical secrets like astrology, mystical sciences, which are sort of very secretive and hidden, of the eighth house. So there is a distinct difference between the sixth house of secret and the open enemies, which is the mirror opposite. The 12th house is like secret enemies. and the other is, but they're secret enemies as well as secret things. So, which is again very different to the secrets regarding astrology and occult of the eighth house. So, you have to remember that very fundamental difference. And in the classic, go back to some of my earlier talks about the great episode from the Puranas about the Samudra Manthan, which is the churning of the ocean um, floor for the nectar of immortality. And there I have mentioned about the Kurma avatar, that is a tortoise, that is a great celestial tortoise who gives the stability. So, whatever is in there, so that 12th house is literally like the house which will give you stability, but it can only give you stability after you have paid the dues of the 12th house. And those dues are, all your sixth house stuff and your eighth house shadripu of the sixth house, and the eighth house, all the karmic debts, the rin, and all the hidden stuff. And so that is a great weapon of the 12th house. It's hidden. That also comes under the 12th house. Please, could you please mute yourselves? It's really disturbing. Um, where were we? Yeah. Okay. So then we come to the Antya and Adi. That is the fourth one by Parashara, which talks about Antya is end, anything that is to be coming to an end, and Adi is extra, etc., like other objects. So another signification of the 12th house is the bed, you know and now we will go through one by one, what, because these are big topics about the 12th house. Make no mistake, do not treat the 12th house lightly. It is one of the most important houses, and it is a make or a break house, because you can have Lagna Lord anywhere, you can have an exalted Lagna Lord, but if you are bogged down by the planets in the 12th house, you are not going anywhere. Moksha is out of question, which is what one of the significators I said. The karakas of the 12th house is also Ketu, because it is, after all, the natural house of Pisces, and Ketu is the Mool Trikon sign for, is a Moksha Karaka, and also it rules Pisces. So please bear in mind that the 12th house has many significations, including the karma of life and death. It's about sleep, it's about your spouse, which we will come, objects, which is like bed, meal, supper. So it's also your gati. Gati in Sanskrit means your momentum, your feet. Where do they go? Of course, Pisces, it's the fag end of the zodiac. It's like the last sign. It's where your feet are. So that is, and what is the signification of the feet? Where you are going. So what happens in the fourth house gets transformed in the eighth house, and eventually where your feet go. What is the outcome of your eighth house? Whether have you transformed enough? Have you learned your lessons? Have you paid your debts? Have you done all that? And then have you contributed to society in any significant manner without wanting too many fruits? And then finally, the result of all this will be given in the 12th house. So the 12th house is really one of the most important houses. I can't stress that enough. Now, here we talk about one by one each of the things that we'll go through of the 12th house. One of the thing is the fish. The Pisces is a natural in Naisargika. It's a natural house, the Pisces for the 12th, which is ruled by Ketu and Jupiter. So one of the big things about the Pisces is Venus exalts there. Now we will see, we already understood, because the association of the 12th house by laws, we understand that Saturn can absolutely be the one of the primary karakas or the significators of the 12th. What about the fishes? The fishes tend to swim in opposite direction, and it's like the cycle, you see, and that's a really important imagery for the 12th house, because it is a cycle. It's like reaching to the higher realms. The fish are not going in one direction, they are going in completely opposite direction. And that's a big clue. It's like the Ouroboros. It's like eating its own head, you see. So in a way, it's also like infinity, but it's also other realms of consciousness, higher realms, you know. So of course it is, you're leaving one world. The whole idea of liberation or moksha is you're going from, exiting from one aspect, one arena, one sense of consciousness on Bhuloka, that is on our earthly plane, and then moving into another. That literally is what um, the whole idea of the 12th house is, that you are able to access other realms through meditation, through spiritual practices. Otherwise you're just stuck in, like, you know, the 10th house or the 11th prophet, you know, transformation and all that. But ultimately, what's the payoff? Where are you actually heading? Where's your ultimate destination? Hello, it has to be the 12th. And hence the 12th has to be able to access higher realms of consciousness. And we cannot access any of the higher realms of consciousness unless we go into some kind of organized spiritual meditative practice. And that is the reason why the 12th house is associated completely and utterly with liberation or moksha, and via meditative and spiritual practices. Without that, without these practices, you're not getting liberation. You're going to be born here on Bhuloka, maybe on even lower levels. I mean, Earth will be like, you know, remember, there are the earlier talks we did, that there are 7 worlds above us and 7 worlds below our feet, that is below our earthly existence. So you may land up going in one of the talas, you know, where there are lots of nagas, serpents, and, like, you know, fighting with each other and ready to bite you off, and it's like you'll be in absolute pain. So hey, those are also worlds you can go to. It depends on how well you have been, you know, spiritual, how well you have been able to overcome and pay off your karmic debts of your 8th house. So you see, it's a perfect cycle, hence the importance of the 12th house. So now expenses. Now, again, like I said, Saturn is the karaka. And in Meena Rashi, which is the Pisces sign in Kalpurusha, it is said this is where the great Maharishis and the sages reside. So, of course, if you have malefics in the 12th house, please note, no one's going to help you there if you have malefics there. What is going to help you here is only the rishis. Only they are going to be able to bail you out of your situation. Please, guys, can you lower your um, who's that? Okay, thank you. So, where were we? Yes. So no one's going to, only the rishis are going to be the main, you know, provider of your way out. So worship the rishis if you have malefics or afflicted 12th house, or your 12th lord is debilitated. There are many, many dictums, but ideally you want a 12th lord which is very, very well placed, maybe in exaltation, maybe in own sign, because that means that your character, your feet, your gati, your ultimate aim of where you're heading is in a good direction. It doesn't matter whether you do little boo-boos and little faux pas along the way, we all do it. But the fact is that ultimately your feet, your intention is good. And that is what really matters, you know, that is that your intention is towards the betterment. Now, the other signification of the 12th is abroad, going abroad, life abroad. And because the 12th is a negating and a loss from the place of birth, that is your lagna, your ascendant. So, of course, the 12th house then is significated is signifies being abroad or travel abroad. But of course, as I mentioned, that because of its connotations with meditative spiritual practices and wanting to access other realms of consciousness, it is also connected with cosmic travel, where you travel through all the chakras are all connected in the 12th house. Higher chakras get connected into the 12th house. So again, they are all to do with long distance, far distance travel. And trines to the 12th, which is 4 and 8, also have a bearing on being abroad and travel. Then we come to the pleasures in bed. Remember what Parashara says: bed and Adi, Antya and Adi, which is objects, which is one of them is the bed. Now, when we talk of bed, there are many functions of the bed. One is, hey, sleep, deep sleep, dream states, all of that. There are three different states, human beings, that is given in the Vedanta very, very clearly. So, deep state of one of the sleep states is a big one. What is the quality of your sleep? Do you sleep well? Are you rested? These are the questions that are vital and which the 12th house will have an answer for. The quality of the 12th house. And what about your, do you sleep well? Do you dream well, or do you wake up with absolute nightmares? Is your 12th lord connected in a kind of like a karmic, a demonic serpent curse, which is like, completely ramshackled by all the malefics? And then you're going to be like someone's done a like a black magic on you. So then you're completely bogged down. You're like every time you're afraid to sleep, or even if you do sleep, something gets triggered every month or so, and then you wake up with nightmares, very disturbed sleep patterns. So that is all to do with the 12th house. And in the highest sense, the 12th house shows what we share with the world. Of course, what we give, that's the thing. Anytime we give, we are incurring a loss if you keep a proper account of everything. But of course, the whole idea is about liberation or moksha. So we have to detach ourselves and just give freely. That is the whole ethos behind the 12th house. And of course, the Ketu, the moksha karaka, has to be then associated because he is associated with moksha, because he is the moksha karaka. Hence, the unlimited giving. If you have lots of planets there, you will have to give a lot. But on a mundane level, it may manifest of many, many relationships because you're constantly seeking these bed pleasures from one thing to another, because that is also one of the significations of bed pleasures, which results in the loss of semen. And so, of course, again, we come back to this square one: loss, Shani, Saturn. These are the big themes of the 12th house. You can't get away from it, and hence Shukra is also an important karaka. So bear in mind, because of the bed pleasures, because of the loss of semen, and all of these factors, Shukra is one of the great benefics. He also becomes the karaka for the 12th house, the third in line, the karaka. So you have to remember one thing, that the karakas are the hands of God. They are God himself. So ideally you want the karakas very, very well placed. If you have Saturn in the 12th house, by all means, it's going to protect the house, but yet it's not going to be easy way, because remember, the one of the karakas is also Shukra, Venus. So in your bed you have Shani there, Shani there, which is going to be like, oh my God, as we will see what we attract. Okay. Now, another of the significations of the 12th house is referred to, the house is also referred to as anuchara. Somebody follows us, maybe like a bad smell. This house is also associated with sense of smell and eyes. And A marriage partner also follows us on a consciousness level. It is also connected to the Ishtadevta. This is for advanced. We will do it when we tackle the Navamsh, the chart of destiny and spirituality. When we do that, the Navamsh chart, the D9, because only from that chart of destiny, the ninth harmonic D9 Navamsh chart, can we see our Ishtadevata, which is our special deity, which we see from 12th house from the Karakamsha. Again, these are when we come to the Navamsh, we will talk about these. But the Arudha of the 12th house is the Upapada. Now, this we will be tackling now, today. Okay, we will come back to that. Then the other signification is secret or secret enemies. Wow, great. So, like I said, it's a mirror opposite of the sixth house, which is open enemies, people who envy you, your own faults and your own vices. So the other ones is the mirror is hidden, things which are secret, isolation chambers, prisons, restrictions. All of that is comes under the domain of the 12th house. Then of course the karmic Shani, he's the primary karaka because it is a consequence of our sins in the past. Hence, think about it, people go to prison, and some people, some really diabolical like serial killers and all, are placed in complete isolation. Why do you think that is so? Because, and that's a very 12th house matter, you see, because when you are in complete isolation, after a while even the mind will give up. And finally, at some point, the isolation will bring you to Shani, which is completely to your own self. You will be able to see yourself and what the problems are, because solitude is a great teacher, you know. And whatever Shani, the karmic stuff Shani throws up, then you can deal with it, at least hopefully in a positive way. So, in a way, solitude and isolation is a great, gives you great forbearance. It gives you a great sense of, being able to tackle with your own self. And eventually, you may even isolate yourself for meditation, which is Ketu, which is the south node of the moon. And and through meditation and complete solitude, you realize Satchit Ananda, the fundamental concept of Vedanta and one of the primary things of all Vedic scriptures, the Satchit Ananda, which is nothing but ultimate bliss, that is your own self realization. And that you can do only through solitude and meditation and spiritual practices. And so ultimately you come to Shukra, which is the great complete bliss that you're seeking. But through this is through a higher level, through Ketu. The other Shukra that you're seeing is bed pleasures, which is on a mundane level, which is never going to satisfy you. But that is the ultimate journey of the 12th house. And hence its association with jails and hospitals and retreats is a big one for the 12th house. You go into a retreat, you're in complete silence, you know so those are all sort of, there are many kinds of retreats, and so these are all of these fall under the 12th house. Now, the planets in the 12th house are called Nestr Graha. Nestr in Sanskrit literally means the priests, and they are like Agnihotris, which are like priests which deal in fire. So, what is a Neshtra? He's a priest associated with marriage. His job in marriage is to lead the bride to the altar. So every time you get married, there is actually a priest doing something in sealing of the vows of the marriage. You see, whether it's Christian or Islamic or doesn't matter which religion, which culture, there'll always be some kind of a priest or a presiding, somebody who's presiding over, even if it's like a court marriage, maybe there's somebody who will take on the signatures and kind of bless the couple and all that. That is in it also a sort of like a Neshtra or a Agnihotri or somebody who's doing that function of a priest in order to seal the vows. And so the planet in the 12th house behave exactly like the priest. And it is called the Nestr Graha, and Parashara says that all planets in the 12th house are Nestr Graha. A Nestra is a priest that leads the bride to the marriage altar. Wow. He adds that the sun, moon, Rahu, and Venus are excellent Neshtra Graha. Now, please note, indeed, all of these planets are fantastic in the 12th house. They will bring you definitely a marriage partner. No doubt about that. Guaranteed. Provided you do not have all of them at the same time in the 12th house, then it's an absolute nightmare. It's a mess. If you have any, even if you have three of these, it's a mess in the 12th house, or even two of them. Ideally, in the best scenario, you want either just the sun or Rahu, or just the Venus there, or the moon there. Ideally, you just want single planets there. Okay, that's the very nice thing to have, because that will guarantee that you have a good marriage, and it will time your marriage depending on the antardasha, or the dasha of these these planets, or the planet in the 12th house. And these planets is like a priest, and he's like a Brahmin who's going to get you married. So these planets will personally undertake this role in order for you to get married. Isn't that fantastic? That is superb. So bear in mind that this is really a very important one. This is not, you're not going to find this in too many places, this particular dictum. And also be aware that if let's carry on forward about yes, any questions? Anyone? Hello?
May I ask you, why you say, you just said, hello?
Yes, yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Why, Sona, you just said that if you have more than one planet, is very difficult. Because there are going to be more more option according to the different antradasha. So more marriages. So
Hey,
that
yes.
do they increase?
Well, of course, that is the trouble. You see, that if you have so many planets in the 12th house, then it's going to bring you confusion. I have a friend who's got sun, moon, Venus, Mercury in the 12th house in Pisces. So that's like what? Four planets there, okay? And that's really problematic, I guarantee you. It is not easy, okay? To having four planets means that her first marriage didn't go well after many, many years, and basically, um, it's very difficult because she keeps attracting men who are each of those planets, who signify each of those planets, and
I see.
ultimately you're going to get so fed up, because there's going to be so much confusion in the mind. Because remember, the 12th house is that it's sort of like where the mind is born as well. So you are kind of like totally in a confused state. So it's not good to have so many planets in the 12th house, because remember the fundamental principle of the 12th. You have to keep giving. It's when we talk about marriage, it's all about giving. If you want to get married to get something, forget it, don't get married. Because the whole ethos of marriage is all about, hey, don't expect anything in return, but you have to keep giving. You see, that's the 12th house. So if you want to, if you have many planets there, that means you have to keep giving, Maria. You'll have to keep giving. You know, how you're going to be wiped out in energy, you know, because it's good, suck your energy out. And that's why she's always also tired, you know. So you see, it's a big problem having so many planets in the 12th house. But don't take it lightly. It's going to be really difficult, you know. And that is the reason why the 12th house is problematic if you have many planets there, you know, because each of them will want to bring you somebody or the other of their choice, you see. Does that clarify your question?
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Sona.
Yeah.
Hello, Devi. How are
Yeah.
you?
Yes, good.
Aksha,
Yes.
there's only one thing when we have to remember. Too many cooks spoil the broth, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Too many priests for marriages, actually. Whom you want to marry?
Exactly. So, you know, okay.
Listener, so can I ask you, is it the same thing for the 12th house from the moon, or just from the ascendant?
We are going to come to that. I'm going to just
Okay,
cover that.
okay.
I'm going
Yeah,
to just cover it
Okay.
because we are going to
Sorry.
everyone's going to calculate their 12th house, what the mirror is and all that. We are going to talk about the mirror, the Arud, you know. Now,
Okay.
planets in the 12th house, if the 8th lord is in the 12th, in combination with debilitated or inimical planets, and the Lagna is strong, the person's diseases will be destroyed. Now this is a very beautiful thing, you know. It's like the malefic, one malefic lord going into another malefic house. Now there's a problem though, according to the Vedic tradition, and Akshat would know this. uh, Guruji always says, right, that, you know, if you even though it comes at a big price, you know, if the 6th lord is in the 12th, or the 8th lord is in the 12th, or the 12th lord is in the 8th, you know, any of these form a like a very good yoga. But the yoga that is formed is through really difficult circumstances, you know. There has to be some kind of like a mishap or something very negative that has to happen before you can accrue the good results of it, you know. So in a way it's like, hey, is it really worth it, you know? But still, it is still good if you have the 6th lord in the 12th house. That means all your shadripu, all your negative stuff, all your enemies are going to just be thrown in the bin, you know. So they're going to just you know, you'll just clear them out, wipe them out literally. So in a way, that's a very positive yoga to have. Then we talk about the effects of the various in various houses, the 12th lord. If the 12th lord is in the first house, the native will be spendthrift, will be weak in constitution, will suffer from phlegmatic disorders, and be devoid of wealth and learning. This is a very important dictum. Wherever the 12th lord goes, he will create some problem or the other, okay? Like I said, in the first house, it's to do with our health, our constitution, our intelligence. So there will be disorders, and there will be problems with wealth and learning, because remember, he will bring, the 12th lord will bring the flavor of loss making flavor to the Lagna or the ascendant. Similarly, the 12th lord in the second house will always spend on inauspicious deeds, be religious, will speak sweetly, will be endowed with virtues and happiness. In a way, the 12th lord in the second is not too bad, you know, because that means you're spending quite a lot of money, and you will be able to earn from a lot of places and things like that. So in a way, that's not so bad, you know. But there is still going to be trouble, some amount of loss it will be incurred. If the 12th lord is in the third house, the native will be devoid of fraternal bliss, will hate others, will promote self nourishment. Now, why does he say that? Because the 12th, the third house is fourth house from the 12th. So, hence, you know, it's kind of going to be like fourth house is all about my own nourishment, me, my own happiness, and all that. So, it can be a little bit selfish, and it'll be devoid of fraternal bliss, will hate others. Now, again, I would get you to test it and try it. These are very important dictums. They will have some flavor or the other. They will carry some iota of truth. If the 12th house lord is in the fourth, the native will be devoid of maternal happiness, will day by day accrue losses with respect to lands, conveyances, and houses. Now, again, there is a problem if the 12th lord, like I said, wherever guys the 12th lord goes, it's going to create a problem, okay? Just take it for granted. But of course, it has to go somewhere. So, um, similarly, 12th Lord in the fifth, the native will be benefit of sons and learning. He will spend as well as visit shrines in order to beget a son. Shrines he will go. Now, I don't know about beget a son, but bear in mind the fifth house is the house of children as well. So, in a way, that will have a bearing on the fifth house, Um, so there may be some kind of a loss of learning as well, because it's ultimately the fifth house is your chitta, your consciousness, and mantra bhava as well. So it is the house of knowledge. So 12th lord in the sixth, the native will incur enmity with his own men, be given to anger, be sinful, miserable, and will go to others wives. Now, why is that? It's the seventh from the sixth. So that's why it's like your enemy, and you're going to go with your enemy's wife. So it's a bit of an alarming situation, but it's a particular yoga that is formed when the 12th lord is in the sixth. It's like I said, any association with the 12th lord in the sixth or the eighth, or any of those intermingling ones, is actually by all classics talked about very well, because it's a particular yoga. It's like a demonic lord, it's like a terrible lord, a dushtana lord, evil lord going into an evil house. So it's going to just destroy that house, which is what you want ideally, right? So
Yes.
but it comes with a price. Guruji never likes this. My the Vedic tradition I follow, my guru does not like the particular. He says it creates a little bit more trouble. That he will,
Yes. Yes, Didi. Actually, that is true. Actually,
yeah.
why
He,
why is happening? Because the person is going with others' wife. Because sixth house is the house of celibacy that controls your seventh house, and you have no control over it when the 12th lord is there, because you have lost your celibacy very early. You want to sleep with everybody now because there is no control on the seventh house, because
yeah.
sixth house has gone away.
Yeah, exactly. Because the sixth house is, remember, the sixth house is also the house of brahmacharya, because Mars is the karaka. The primary karaka of sixth house is Mars, which is the house of brahmacharya, right? So, of course, and Virgo, it's the Naisargika Virgo house, the Kanya, which is like pristine and very clean and everything like perfect, and then there you are murking the waters of the 12th house of bed pleasures. Yeah, so yeah.
Oh,
And then we
I'm
come,
sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. And who is
yeah,
the Lord of 12th house?
sorry,
Who is the Lord of 12th house?
what do you mean who's the lord of the 12th house? Sorry, hello.
Oh, see, if, for example, the 8th house Lord is Saturn, right? So,
Sorry, what's
I
that?
think he means the karaka.
Hmm. He already been through the karaka. I said it's Saturn, Ketu, and Venus in that order, remember? Are you talking of the karaka?
I think he's confused between the karaka and the lordships actually.
No, here we are talking of the lords. This is the first time I'm taking lords in each of the houses, because this is like a starting point. I'm starting now the next set of things where we'll go through all the next few sessions. We will go through dignity of planets and placement of where each of the lords are placed. Yeah. So don't get confused between the karaka. This is nothing to do with karaka. This is the 12th lord. Okay. So if the 12th lord is in the 7th, the native will incur expenditure on account of his wife, will not enjoy conjugal bliss, and will be benefit of learning and strength. Well, that's obvious, and again, 12th lord in the 8th, native will always gain, will speak affably, will enjoy a medium span of life, and be endowed with all good qualities. Now, this is very important. Like I said, again, the Bhavartha Ratnakara also, along with Parashara, also has very good things to say about the eighth lord in combination with the 12th, in each other's houses. So again, like I said, this is a very important principle, but feel free to test it out. But some pain will happen, some mishap, because the eighth house is also the house of shocks, you know so there will be some kind of a shock. If the eighth lord is in the 12th, there will be some kind of a shocking thing, an event that will happen, before it gives before it gives good results. Okay. And if the 12th lord is in the ninth house, the native will dishonor his elders, be inimical even to his friends, be always intent on achieving his own ends. Well, because the ninth house is the dharma bhava, and so again, there may be loss of honor and things like that towards elders and mentors and father figures. Then, if the 12th lord is in the 10th, the native will incur expenditure through royal persons and will enjoy moderate and paternal bliss. Again, see, the 12th lord, wherever it goes, it will create a problem. If it is in the 10th house, your work may dry up. Maybe you'll have like loads of high expenditures because maybe you're working for the government, and then you land up like whining and dining everybody, and then you like your money is exhausted and things like that, and your expenses, you're busy paying all the expenses. And if the 12th lord is in the 11th house, the native will incur losses, be brought up by others, and will sometimes gain through others. Now, the thing is, be brought up by others. That means that because the 11th house is the 12th from the 12th house, that means there has been some kind of a loss anyway. And later we will learn the concept of argala, which is like, because the 12th house is the second from the 11th. These are all little bit complicated in terms of, because we haven't yet reach that level, but we will come to that. But it will sometimes gain through others. So there is no doubt that the 12th lord in the 11th is not such a bad placement. Then we come to the 12th lord in the 12th, native will face heavy expenditure, will not have physical felicity, be irritable and spiteful. Well, we will find out. If you have Saturn in the 12th in Capricorn, even that means you're an Aquarius Lagna, and you have Saturn in the 12th. My God, you are a force to be reckoned with. Remember, Saturn in the 12th house in its own sign is going to be really, you may think it's very strong. Yes, indeed, it is strong. But in terms of happiness, in terms of all of that, it's not a happy situation at all. At all. Now, if the sun is in the 12th house at birth, he will have a deformed physique, one eyed, fallen, morally, will marry a barren lady, be inimical to his father, weak and mean. Now, we will test it out. Bear in mind, when the sun goes to the 12th house. Hi, guys, can you switch off? Uh, not muted. Okay, when the sun is in the 12th at birth, he will have a deformed physique. Now, anyway, the sun in the 12th, this is we are going to do the killing positions, but one of the killing positions for the sun is in the 12th house. It is in Maranasthana. That means it doesn't do very well there. It feels completely inept. And for the real fortune to open up in the sun in the 12th, it takes like maybe a death of the father or passing away of the father for it to open up. Okay, so but then there is also, he will marry a barren lady, be inimical to his father, weak and mean. We will do an example for this, okay, and we will see. If the moon occupies the 12th, the native will be odious, fallen in moral sense, mean, suffer eye diseases, indolent, distressed, deformed, born in others' loins, and be insulted at all times. Now, please remember what Parashara says is, this is how it will manifest. This is nothing to do with marriage. The Nestr Graha, this is in Saravali. So this you can still attract, if you have moon in the 12th, you will have a very karmic relationship with your wife. It's coming from an immediate past lifetime. Anything in the 12th house is something very, very karmic. Okay, you have to bear that in mind. But that doesn't mean that these won't come to pass. And just because you're married and you've got a good marriage doesn't mean this may not happen. This may still happen, you know. So you have to kind of marry both the things and test it out. Should Mars be in the 12th, the native will have disease, dies, will fall in moral sense, will kill his wife, be a talebearer, be fierce, and will contract humility and imprisonment. Now, please take this with a pinch of salt, okay? Because there are many, many people who have this placement. You have to consider many factors for this, okay? Yes, maybe in one of these may hold true for sure, but not all of them. So you, if you have like a prospective boyfriend and he's got Mars in the 12th, and you think, oh, he's going to kill his wife, forget it, I'm going to dump him. Please don't jump to conclusions like that, okay? Maybe it will manifest differently, okay? So please bear in mind. Then,
Yes.
should Mercury be in the 12th, native will be able to keep his promise, be indolent, be humiliated, be a good speaker, be learned, pitiable, and cruel. Again, this is very good significations of Mercury. And, indolent, maybe because Mercury in the 12th is a bit like being in Pisces and in its debilitation. So maybe because of that. Should Jupiter be in the 12th, native will be indolent, odious, be devoid of speech, luck, and will be in all probability be in servitude. Now, please bear in mind that people, Lagna lords, let's say if you have Lagna lord in the 12th house, okay, if it is a positive, it's like a benefic, like Jupiter or Venus, then you have to see whether it's an exaltation or debilitation or friendly sign or Rashi. There are many factors playing into this. So just don't take it for face value. Oh, I've got Jupiter in the 12th house, I'm going to be, like completely born and die in servitude. It's not like that. Okay. Should Venus be in the 12th, the native will be indolent, happy, corpulent, fallen in moral sense, will eat cleansed food, will be skillful in providing sleeping comforts and attendance, and will be won over by women. So that's a little bit more positive about the Venus. Saravali has only Venus, something positive to say about Venus. Everything
Yeah.
else is like a disaster. So anyway, but we follow Saravali. But like I said, take it with pinch of salt, please. If Saturn occupies the 12th, the native will be distressed, fallen in moral sense, talkative, will have defective eyesight, be kind, shameless, and will spend much and be insulted. So this gives us a very good clue as to, hey, what is good in the 12th house. By and large, malefics is going to give a problem, guys, no matter what. Okay, just accept it. And once you accept that malefics will give a problem, then start to look for solutions. And solutions will be, hey, maybe my Mars is in trines to the moon, maybe it is aspected by Venus, maybe it's in conjunction with Jupiter. So then it gets a little, the situation is not so dire, is not so dire here. I laugh. Hey, I have Mars in the 12th. Hey, okay. So, and I haven't killed my husband yet. So,
So you will not kill actually. That is actually very, that is an extreme form. Things
yeah,
will change accordingly with the chart actually. Because
absolutely,
these, they have written actually in the extreme sense. It is not in the extreme sense. It's never been the extreme sense. But
absolutely. Yeah,
a lot of time they have said that a person will have diseased eyes. A lot of when the malefics are there, they are telling this actually. They
yeah,
have, because they are saying that they have a direct connection to the second or the 10th house if the malefics is there in the 12th house.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, because it is the 11th from the second, so you are gaining from that. So you are not gaining very well,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
So,
it's a parakram of the 10th. So there is something to do with that actually. But I think so. Venus in the 12th house, a person who will, they will have a lot of women around, but they will always be loyal to one. Actually, I've seen, because Venus is the karaka in the 12th. You only have one spouse.
yeah. Okay, that is if you just have Venus there. If you have Venus there and Moon
No
there,
other planets. No other planets.
yeah, yeah, but that is a different thing. That is like bringing the Nestr Graha from the point of view of bringing the marriage, acting as a priest. That's a little bit different to these significations, here. So yeah, but I agree that any malefic in the 12th house will give you a little bit of problem with the eyes and things like that. But then again, like I said, only a rishi is going to bail you out, and each planet has a specific rishi, and there are mantras for that. Any questions so far?
Yeah, it's me. It's James.
Hi, James. Yes, tell me.
Um, I've got two questions. Is there a difference between like that gentleman said Venus in the 12th? What about Venus ruling the 12th? Will that work out subtly different? Obviously, it depends where Venus is in the chart, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We just did all the lords of the 12, the 12th lord in various houses, and we established already that in the 6th and the 8th, it's actually ideal to have the 12th lord in the 6th or the 8th, right? But again, now this is another, thank you for asking this, but another dictum that comes to from the Vedic tradition I follow of Pandit Sanjay Rath, and there he often says that the gati, your feet, you want the 12th lord in a very benefic position here, that is maybe in the 5th or maybe in the sort of like a good house,
Yeah,
or a 9th, because that is will give you a very clean character. Your
yeah,
character will get sort of like what's the word, cleansed, all the
yeah,
yeah, is that, does that help you?
yeah. I understand. And also, they say, like Camilla used to say, like the 12th house is very long journeys, like far distant countries. Is that
Oh yeah,
right?
across the seas. Remember, it's a Pisces. It's a house of Pisces. Yes, we are crossing the seas here.
Yes,
Definitely, long
yeah,
distance.
but
Yes.
is that different from the ninth? Is ninth house more if you went on a specific pilgrimage somewhere? Yeah, for your religion. Yes, is that
Yes.
right? The ninth house travel.
Yes, yes. And the
Okay.
12th house is predominantly, it's in the 12th houses. I would not say 12th house is pilgrimage. I would say 12th house is more to do with your life abroad, moving abroad and being abroad, where you're cross. And abroad doesn't mean, hey, I'm in the UK and I'm popping over to France. That's like a stone's throw from here. That's not really, though it is technically abroad, but of course, now with the Euro thing. But what I mean is like abroad is like, hey, I'm in Johannesburg, and then I'm moving to like Australia, or somewhere like really where you're crossing quite a few, you're crossing large expanse of water.
Yes.
Yeah, but
12th house travel is actually mostly
sorry,
when they
sorry,
change the time difference actually. Time changes
sorry.
actually. Time, sunlight differences.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
sorry, how does that relate to the ninth house travel? Is ninth house like if you made a pilgrimage somewhere for your religion? Is that the ninth house travel? As you know, the difference.
No,
Yes.
ninth house is just general long distance travel actually. When you travel in the 12th house, you're actually going for a long time staying there actually. Okay.
Oh, so ninth
Now,
house is more brief journeys,
yeah,
yeah?
it's long journeys. Third and ninth house are the journeys because they are unsettling you from the 4th house, your home actually. Okay.
Yeah.
And 12th house is going away for a long period of time actually. You're not just traveling actually. You are just going away and staying
Yeah.
there.
Remember, James, I began this, we began with the Parashara Shloka saying that it is abroad and life abroad. Remember, that's the fundamental thing.
Yes.
I never mentioned anything about, hey, it's about traveling abroad. Yes, indeed, it is about travel, but it's long distance travel is one of the big signification. But when we talk about the long distance travel, not just the ninth house, but the fourth and the eighth also are also classified as long distance travel or travel for that matter, but being abroad and life abroad is very specific to the 12th house. And bear in mind that Lagna is where you are born, the country that you're born, that's your Lagna, right? Of course. And there is a very good trick to this, to the question that you're seeking. It's like, if you want to understand how the person's life is going to impact if he lives abroad, then literally move the chart to the 12th house. So you're not moving the planets. You're basically making the 12th house as the Lagna.
Yeah.
And then you're reading the all the planets and everything and how they react and all that, how they kind of interact and all that. So that's a big clue as to how your life will be, impacted and whether it'll be a positive impact or not. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say for example, okay, you have let's say somebody has got a Mars and Saturn conjunction in the 12th house and Moon in the 8th. It's all likelihood they may not even survive with that configuration, but never mind that. Let's just carry on with that. So if we think about, hey, what will be their life abroad, then it will be like, the Moon will go in the 9th house, and then the Mars and Saturn will come on their Lagna, on their ascendant. So of course Moon in the 9th is nice, and Mars is, on the ascendant is very positive. So albeit Saturn is in Marana, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that's how you will read the chart. So that is a very important thing you can do with the 12th house. Okay.
Yeah, but what's the difference with ninth house travel then?
Ninth house is a more like on work and, kind of pilgrimages and all that related.
For a pilgrimage, yeah, or for study, yeah.
Yeah,
or for studying.
Studying
Okay.
And work related. Your bosses send you somewhere and then you kind of paying off the that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, very true.
Yeah. Now let's see we all know David Bowie. Everybody, all of you here know David Bowie, right? Like one of the most iconic figures, my God. And look at his 12th house. Amazing. Can everybody see that? Come on, unmute yourselves and tell me what's his Lagna and everything.
Capricorn.
Guys, make an attempt.
Capricorn ascendant.
Yes, very nice. Capricorn, very steady, very great patience, And where's his Lagna Lord?
And Cancer.
Yes, that's a huge Raj Yoga. Absolutely. That's a big Raj Yoga in, it's with the moon. That's also it's called the Kalika Yoga in the Vedic tradition I follow. So Kalika Yoga is like, the powers of the Kali. And of course he did. Look at his music. It's iconic. Nobody can forget him, He left like a huge legacy behind, and the moon Saturn is absolutely phenomenal. Bear in mind, Hitler also had Saturn in the 10th house in Cancer, while Bowie has Saturn in Cancer in the 7th house in directional strength here in the 7th. So how many planets does he have in the 12th house then? Can somebody say?
3.
Yeah.
3.
And that's quite a few. Sun, Mars, and Mercury. And remember his first wife, Angie Bowie, and she mentioned they had an open marriage. Now, this is a classic one, guys. This is what I wanted you to focus on, that planets in the 12th will always give you problems if they are malefics. Sun is Krura. Remember, Surya is a Krura Graha. Krura is cruel, and Mars is, of course, you don't want Mars in the 12th. It's horrible. And it's probably combust as well. Okay. That means it's quite close to the sun. And so you see here, the Mars, she must have been a Mars kind of a marriage where you're kind of very clinical, very getting the job done. And she was his business manager, and she organized a lot of shows and all that, did all the artwork and all that stuff for him, So she described their union as a marriage of convenience. We got married so that I could get a permit to work in. I didn't think it would last. And David said, before we got married, I'm not really in love with you. And I thought that's probably a good thing, she said. Bowie said that about Angela, that living with her is like living with a blowtorch. Hello, who's got the Mars in the 12? He has. And actually, he was talking about his own chart when he said, living with Angela is like living with blowtorch. You see, Sun and Mars, the two most Krura Graha in the 12th house. Okay?
Sonal,
Yeah.
Sonal, he had a half brother who was insane in Cane Hill Mental Hospital.
Okay, what has that got to do with his planets in the 12th?
Well, Sun, Mars, Mercury in the 12th. I'm looking at it probably Sun, Mars, Mercury in the 12th. He had a brother who was mad, and a lot of his songs, he got the inspiration of a lot of his songs about madness, schizophrenia, and he said he would probably have gone the same way if he wasn't able to perform,
Well,
yeah,
said, Mars. James, Mars is aspecting. Can somebody tell me what houses Mars is aspecting? Go on, James.
So I can't read this square chart, sorry, but anyway.
Here, there is a rectangle chart here. James, there is a rectangle chart here as well.
Yeah, but he was said, Bowie said he hated getting up in front of people, and he said that's why he assumed all these personas, enabled him to get up in front, because he said initially he hated being in front of people, so he assumed all these personas like the Thin White Duke, Ziggy Stardust, whatever, Aladdin Sane. It was a channel for him to work with. Otherwise, he said he couldn't have done it, So anyway, that's all I'm saying,
Yeah. No, I get that. But thank you for telling me about his brother, because that is very evident. Mars in the 12th, and Mars has a drishti. Can everybody see the drishti of Mars in the
yes,
third
on
house?
the third.
Mars aspects the third house.
Yeah, aspect on the third.
Exactly. So that third house is absolutely a problem, okay? And what else is aspecting that third house?
Saturn.
No, Mars is aspecting, only Mars is aspecting actually.
Mars.
What happened to his brother?
Sorry?
What happened to his brother? Can you repeat?
He turned schizophrenic, and there was many mental health issues with it, and it affected him deeply. But of course it will. That Mars is a problem.
Yes.
No, it's not Saturn aspecting.
Yes, it's also 6 from the Jupiter actually, so it will also be destroyed actually in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely, because Jupiter is in Libra, but that is, again, we are going to come to that, which planet destroys what from where. Jupiter from its own sign is in the 6th or the 8th house, from its own sign. So yes, it is a problem. But there's also another thing, though. It would have affected him because you see the karaka of the 3rd house is Mars. And when we see the chart from the 3rd house, Mars and Sun are in Digbal. That means he would have got a lot of Digbal is again, sorry guys, next session we are going to do strength of planets and planets which are in, so I promise. Anyway, that's a little bit advanced, so we leave it there, okay? So anyway, but I wanted to point out the main thing here, that the planets in the 12th house will color your entire persona. He got a marriage very much like Mars, Mercury kind of a, no, actually with Angela, he got a Mars Sun kind of a marriage. With Mercury, I think he got married to what's her name? To a very nice American, Afro-American woman, didn't she?
No, he
I
didn't.
think
He didn't marry that lady, but he had I think he did have lots of affairs throughout the marriage. Like Lulu, he did affair with Lulu. He did have affairs with lots of women, you know.
Okay, but he did have a steady relationship with a much younger person who was obviously a very mercurial kind of a person, you know. Read up about it. I think she was an American singer. Okay, so she's,
Iman.
yes, hello?
Iman. She was a model.
Yes,
She was a model.
thank you. I thought she was a singer. Thank you very much. Excellent. That's what I wanted to know. So she was much younger to him, wasn't she?
yeah.
Yeah. So you see, that does manifest very well. Planets in the 12th will manifest, period. Even anywhere in the chart, the Antardasha or Dasha of these planets will bring you, you know, your partner or whatever. Okay? So,
Yes, yes.
so here we see, should Mercury be in the 12th, another one of the Parasharas, or maybe it's coming from Saravali. The native will be able to keep his promise, be indolent, be humiliated, good speaker, learned, pitiable, cruel. Again, guys, please mute yourself. Nirmala, please. Yeah, thank you. Where were we now? Let's go to the next one. Okay, now the very important ones. I will want, this is your homework, guys. I would like you to, I know all of the softwares, Vedic software will give you the Arud of your chart. But I would like you to, for the next session, calculate your Arud Lagna as well as your Upapada of the 12th. Now, I'm going to explain what Arud is. Arud is a mirror. It's the Maya. It's the physical body manifestation of the Lagna ascendant. That is the Arud of the Lagna, which we popularly call as AL. Or we just say Arud Lagna, okay? Now, each Rashi or each sign, each house has an Arud. As well as grahas or planets also have their Arud. But we are not going to, at this point, deal with the Graha Arud. We are just going to talk about and deal with the Arud of the 12th house, of the Lagna, and a few other important ones. Okay? And this is literally the concept of Arud means the mount. And it refers to the illusion, the Maya. It's created by the reflection of a sign about its Lord or vice versa. So it's the image of the Lord reflected by its sign. So where the Lord goes, and I will come to the calculation, it's very simple calculation, but it will change your Jyotish. It will change your astrology completely because it is one of the most important lagnas or factors, auxiliary ascendants. So here we talk about the three most important ascendants. One is your lagna, your actual ascendant lagna, which is your ascendant. It is like the sun, Surya, bright. Then the other one is the Arud Lagna, which is like the moon, which is like, you know, your you know, the mirror of your ascendant or mirror of, you know, where your Lord has gone. And then from there we count. I will come to the calculation, but the Arud Lagna is an auxiliary ascendant. It is the Maya and it behaves like the moon. Okay. And then the third one is the Paka Lagna, which we already did last time. Remember, we did the Paka Lagna. and that is like Jupiter. Okay, so the Paka Lagna is literally where your energy is getting channeled in, where your Lagna Lord, the Lord of your ascendant, is going. That's your Paka Lagna. So these three factors or these three ascendants are the key, and the Mahamantra Hare Rama Krishna is based on Hare is Jupiter, synonymous with Jupiter or Brihaspati. Rama is Surya avatar, and Rama is totally connected with the sun, and Krishna is the moon avatar and totally connected with the moon. So these are the bare bone, the fundamental ones, the Hare Ramakrishna. There we see here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in front of the Jagannath temple. Here the three Subhadra and Jagannath here. So this is absolutely beautiful. So this Maha Mantra is one of the greatest of mantras, and there is no problem if you chant it. It is absolutely most amazing mantra. Now, the Rashi Arud, which is what we are going to be dealing with only, okay? We are talking about only two Aruds, so your homework will be two. One is finding your Arud or the ascendant of your ascendant, and the other one will be finding the Arud of your 12th house, which is called the Upapada Lagna, which is the UL. The UL is a single most point which will bring you a marriage partner or any serious relationship. No matter what, I guarantee you, whether by transit, by antardasha, by dasha, whether you're interested in marriage or not, whether you're interested in a relationship or not, that UL will be active every time you land up meeting somebody. So basically, the 12th house gives us a very important factor. It gives us the Upapada Lagna. It will get you married. And how we are going to get married is through the Upapada Lagna. Long-term relationships. Do not talk about flings here. Flings are not here. They are in the 7th house. We are talking of a different factor here. Here we are talking of long-term relationships only. Okay. And so the Upapada Lagna is called the UL. Okay. Now, how do we calculate it? Oops. I didn't put the slide there. Okay. Let's do an exercise. Okay. Let's, can somebody tell me where the Lord of David Bowie is, of his 12th house?
10th house.
Yes. So it's in the 10th house, right? So it's 10th, but it is 11th from, you count
The 12th.
where it is. Yeah, 11th from the 12th. So you count 11, right? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. So that's all you have to do. Find the Lord of the 12th house. Then count from the 12th house to the Lord. Okay? We get 11. From Jupiter, then we count further 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we arrive.
house.
Look, yes. So his UL is over here. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Can everybody see his UL in Leo? Yeah?
Yes.
So it's a simple calculation.
Yes.
Simple calculation. Find the Lord of the Ascendant, Lord of the 12th house, and count till there, till the Lord. And from the Lord, you count that many houses as it is away from the 12th house. Simple, okay? And then you will arrive. Sorry?
The exceptions are.
Yes, there are exceptions. The exceptions are that the Lord of the Upapada Lagna can, or for that matter, any Arud Lagna cannot be in the same house as the, so it cannot be in Sagittarius or it cannot be in Gemini. That is the exception, okay? So for example, if his Jupiter was in the 7th house, let's say, okay?
I think we can do the
Or we can
Arudha
take
Lagna.
his Arudha Lagna, exactly, his ascendant. This is a perfect example, guys. His ascendant is Capricorn, okay? Now, where is his Saturn?
7?
Yes. And
Mm.
so that means count 7 from Saturn. Where do you come to?
Yes, Sunday.
Yeah,
So,
Back at the
the
ascendant.
ascendant.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
would say, so you would now going to say that, hey, his Arudha Lagna is in his in his ascendant, but
Mm.
we cannot take the 1st and the 7th house, because the 1st house is Vishnu, the 7th house is Shiva. It is the Satyapeeth. Satyapeeth means it's the truth. Arud is all about the mirror. It's like a house of mirrors. It's like what appears to the world. You're interacting through the world. It's a mirage. It's the moon. It's gone here today, gone tomorrow. Okay?
Mm.
You cannot have it in the 1st house or the 7th house. So if it lands up in any of these houses, you simply go 10th from there. Okay?
Mm.
Libra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
So
if
he
it
goes
lands
on the
up in,
10th house.
yeah. So
I
if
see.
it is, yeah, if it is in the Lagna, because it is landing up in the Lagna, the point, you just go to the 10th and that's it. Okay.
The 10th. Yeah.
Simple. Yeah. So
Mhm.
everybody, okay. So now I will give you now an exercise. We can take up some charts in a bit. And basically we will calculate the Arud and the Upapada Lagna, because these 2 points are going to be very, very vital. We are going to keep working with it because it's one of the big manifestations, of everything in your life that you will do, people who you will encounter. They are not like little ghosts going around on the planet. They are real people. They are like made of mud and flesh and bones, and kind of, they have bad days and good days and horrible days and nasty, and all of that. That is all Arud. That is all to do with Arud. So your wife or your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend, they are all going to be from your Upapada Lagna. So they are real. They are like flesh and bones. They have their moody days. She's a moody cow. She's terrible. She's having a temper tantrum. She's having a fit. These are all part of the Upapada, is part of the Arud of your spouse, which is nothing but Upapada. Okay? Is everybody clear on this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
So we covered that, and so it will show in all long-term relationships, like I said. Now this is a very beautiful, for the 12th house, this is one of my favorite Vishnu Gayatri for cleansing, and it's a beautiful mantra from the Rig Veda. This is the whole mantra, but this is the tradition my teacher has taught us. Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surya Diviva Chakshu Ratatam. That's a beautiful and beautiful. It'll help you if you recite this, especially in the afternoon or evening, because the 12th house, bear in mind, is all about the cleansing and all about where your feet go. And this will keep you very much purer and cleansed. Okay. So I would encourage you guys to keep, I will put it in the chat, the Telegram group, this mantra, and feel free to sort of take it. Then we come to the various significations of the 12 houses from various lagnas, okay? Because they are all different. The 12th house from the ascendant is where we give our energy, of course. The 12th bhava from the Paka Lagna, that is our Lord of the Ascendant, is where we apply and focus our intelligence, okay? Then the 12th bhava from the Chandra Lagna will show that what we think of our partner really, who's what kind the quality. Now this is another little dictum, okay? 12th house from your moon sign, okay? If you have a transiting Rahu or a Ketu or Saturn going in the 12th, then 100% there will be some guy or a woman whom you may be interested in. You may form a new relationship and things like that. That's a very important one. Saturn 12 from the moon sign will bring you some kind of a relationship. Maybe you may want to have a kid with the person, or maybe you may want to just be a companion, but it will bring you a very significant relationship if you want it, that is. Yeah, is everybody okay with that? Hello?
Yep.
Yeah.
Even though you're going through Sanasari?
Yes, even though you're going
Okay.
through Sadesati. In fact, it will bring you some problems for sure,
Okay.
but it will. Then we have the 12th Bhava from Arudha Lagna, will show something material that is being given or lost. Okay. So if you have planets from the Arudha Lagna in the 12th house, then it will show that something is being lost. If you have a planet there, whatever that planet signifies, that means it will incur some kind of a loss from your Arudha Lagna. That means you will have to give it away. So for example, if you have Venus 12th from your Arudha Lagna, that's not a very nice placement, especially for men. It will give you a lot of problems, okay? And then we won't do this. This is for advanced classes, Karakamsha, where you're finding the special deity who will give you liberation. That's for advanced, okay? Now we look for the effects of the 12th house on account of expenses. Again, I'm repeating some of this, but I won't go through it. Maybe you can just go through it on your own. There will be a presentation attached. Then you have the various, again, lords we've gone through. Let's do one of the last charts, Ramana Maharshi's chart. Here we see, can anybody tell me where his Lord of his Ascendant is? Is everybody familiar with him?
In the 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 12.
Do you know him?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, I do.
I don't know him.
Yes, was a phenomenal ascended master, absolutely phenomenal. And he would speak nothing. Hi guys, can you we are just like last minutes, please, just, yeah, if you can mute. Ramana Maharshi was a hugely ascended master and a spiritual guru, absolutely phenomenal, very genuine. And he ran away from home. He had no food to eat, barely any, really thin man, but he was absolutely phenomenal. People will just had some questions, some spiritual queries, some dire dilemmas in their life. They would just go to his satsang and sit there in silence, and they will get all the answers. Such was his power. So you see, Saturn in the Lagna, of course, it's in a Maranasthana, but look at his Jupiter. And can somebody tell me if there is a Parivartana there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, there is.
Superb Parivartana, absolutely phenomenal. He was,
So one with Rahu.
sorry?
With Rahu.
With Rahu.
We can see Saturn and Jupiter as well. And
Yeah,
Rahu is in Sagittarius
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I know. Due to Parivartanas, interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, superb. So you see, and he never got married, nothing. And he was a celibate, absolutely phenomenal. But you see his power. that the Jupiter in the 12th, and absolutely he was, of course, he suffered from also, I think he had probably cancer and things like that, but he was absolutely dedicated to the upliftment of everybody and spiritual, giving great spiritual direction to everyone, you see. So that Sun was the Lord of the 10th house in the 12th, is a great yoga. Plus, there's a lot of association from both the Lagna Lord and the Parivartana between Lagna Lord in the 12th and the 12th and the first house. He would meditate. He was in great samadhi all the time when he was not, sort of doing the satsang and things like that. So that shows a lot of focus in the 12th house, you see. So when the Lagna Lord, you can't take away, the Paka Lagna is in the 12th house. You can't take away, or, the beauty of that. Yeah. So we will leave it there. And I would like you guys, okay. Okay, now the homework, okay. Hello, can everybody
Yep.
hear? Yes?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
So
Yep.
now I would like your guys to do this homework. Find your Arudha Lagna, okay? And find your Upapada Lagna of the 12th house. If you have any problems in calculating, get in touch on the Telegram group. I will help you out. Not a problem. Take both the lords, like let's say Gemini Lagna and your 12th house is Taurus. Take Moon and Venus both. Okay? Try it out. See how far you get. Yeah?
And
Yeah.
Sona,
Yeah.
for a Scorpio with its two lords, we have two
Yeah.
Arudas Lagna.
Of
So
course.
two, shall we look for two? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed, because welcome to Jyotish Advanced, because then you will have two Arudas to play with. Wow, amazing. Then you'll be like, you laugh, huh? And then you will have the problems. Like it's like, oh my God, what am I manifesting? You have a Saturn transit over your Arud, and you're going like, what is going on? Everything is falling apart. That's when the beauty of the Arud you will need, and you will understand that how Aruds can change, and how to kind of, it's like a tsunami when through Saturn or through the transit of a dasha or a transit of Rahu or Ketu, like it's like a tsunami will come and it will take things away from you, and then you'll be like, okay, but you have another Arud. Don't worry about it. Maybe you're meant to do something else now. You have to go through a metamorphosis, go through a huge transformation to come to that point. Okay. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Sona.
Thank you,
Thank
Sona.
you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Sona. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. And